Zoom back in here, and we're going to need to clean up these brows a bit. So we'll take our, one thing that you can do is take the spot healing brush for things that aren't touching another area. It works the same way that the healing brush does. You take a sample and then you draw with it. You take the sample with the regular healing brush and then you move to the spot healing brush and you just brush over that area. And see, it shows up like a black line and it blends in, keeps the texture of the sampled area. It works great for things like cleaning up dots in the background or cleaning up some of these little hairs. It does not work well if you have to go over an area where there's a shift in lightness and darkness. So like if I tried to just paint over this whole brow area, it wouldn't work. You need to do it where stuff is isolated. Now I'm going to just go in with the clone stamp. And I got it set to 60% here because I want it to be a pretty obvious change, but I want it to still look really natural, so I'm not going to do it at 100%. I'm just going to go in and go over it a couple of times instead of once at 100. That way we keep it natural, keep the texture. Set it back to normal, the brush here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in some eyebrows to fill these empty areas. I've selected a color that was nearby and I've set my brush to normal at a low opacity, around 30%. I like to keep things around 30%. It gives me the most control, I feel, around there somewhere. And I'm just brushing it in. Can always erase it. Can always go back in my history state if I feel like I don't like the way it's turning out. I selected a brush that's about the same size as one of these eyebrow hairs, and I'm just brushing in, going over the same spots to build up the color that the brow is. If you go in at 100% opacity, it's going to look like you're drawing on top of it. If you keep it at a low opacity and you layer it like I'm doing here, it makes it look a lot more natural. I'm just going to clean up this area here, reshape the brow a little bit. I like her eyebrows bushy and thick the way they are, so I'm not going to just take them all out now. Sometimes you may need to do that, but for this image here, I'm just cleaning them up a little bit. So as you can see now, we've drawn in a little bit of the brow here. Might need to darken it a little bit in some areas, make it look a little bit more even. Smooth out that area there. We want that to be a nice line again, like it was with the lips. We want to have it be a defined area where her brow starts and stops. And we've got the hairs that look pretty natural in there. I think I might take out this area here so that we have a nice, well-defined eyebrow. I'm going to burn in some of those lighter areas. And I think I might lighten some of those darker areas. Just cleaning it up a little bit so it looks neat, nice and clean. So now I've selected the color of the brow and I'm just brushing over it with that color set at a low opacity so that way it looks even, one neutral color as opposed to a bunch of different colors in there. From afar it'll make it stand out. Just zoom in and clean this whole area here up a little bit. Darken it. It's looking pretty good. Let's see from where it was. Yeah, it's a little bit more of a defined brow shape. I'm going to paint in a little bit more of these eyelashes, just get them looking a little bit better. Again, these aren't that well in focus, so we don't want to go overboard. I'm just going to draw in a little bit here. From afar, make them look, oop, not that big. Just make them look a little bit thicker. Clean them up a bit. Now This is what I like to call virtual makeup. We're just drawing on some of her eyeliner so it stands out a little bit more. It can be really fun to do makeup on models in Photoshop. You can change their eyeshadow color, or you can do whatever you want, really. Lots of options. So we're just painting it on a little bit, making her look a little bit more glamorous. Go back to that nose area here. Still got to reshape that a little bit more, defining it with the burn and dodge so that the highlight down the bridge of the nose there is more accurate. And now we got to clean up some of this hair. She's got a lot of hair going in her face area, so we want to remove some of that. And I'm going to do kind of a quick cleanup here and then burn it in so that it melds with the shadow area. That way it holds on to the texture. Draw a few lashes over here. Again, these lashes aren't in focus, so we're just going to quickly draw over them here, define them a little bit more. From afar, they're looking pretty good.